Um, and Sam shows up and he knows his lines. And he's just a real pro. And and the thing is, Sam was wonderful in tons of movies before Pulp Fiction. But the thing is actually really, I mean, it's like, Spike Lee's the one who really kind of brought Sam out in a big way. Before Spike started casting him in movies, I think Sam's first movie where he actually had something to do was Ragtime. All right, but before that, it's like Sam was like doing under fives. When you look at that opening sequence in Sea of Love, you'll see Sam in there. A couple lines in there. All right, you would see Sam, and he's the guy robbing the hamburger stand in Coming to America. Shows up for like 2 minutes. Has like a little scene like that. And he was always doing episodic, along with theater, he was always doing episodic television shows and stuff. He used to joke that, like, every year he would go to Chicago so Robert Urich could kick his ass, at Spencer for Hire. He was like, every season you'd go there, get his ass kicked by Robert Urich, and they call him back again next season. Okay, Sam, we get another part for you could get beat up by Spencer. Okay, great. And so, here's this powerhouse. But just really it wasn't having any luck in films. And then, Spike cast him in a couple movies, and then he, in particularly in Jungle Fever, and that set him off. And then, he was doing stuff, and then along came Pulp Fiction. And there's just, I've said it before, Lawrence has said it before, Sam has said it before, but you can't really quite say it enough. It's, nobody quite says my dialogue the way Sam does. Now, there's other actors that do it, and they can do it as good in their way as Sam does. All right, but there's an aspect to my dialogue, and I never try to hit on it. It's just all subconscious, it all happens. But there's an aspect to my dialogue that is, I don't want to call it poetry, but there is a relation to poetry. It's not songwriting, but there is a relation to songwriting. It's not rap, but there is relation to rap. It's about rhythm, and it's not soliloquies, but it has a relationship to soliloquies. All right, it's about rhythm and cadence, and there's a singing aspect, not to everything I write, but definitely the stuff I give to Sam. There is, and Sam sings my dialogue. I mean, it's just no other way to say it. He turns it into the poetry that it was always meant to be. I'm not trying to be highfalutin by saying that. It's just, but he brings the music out in it in just this special way that he owns. And it's and the character of Jules was just wonderful. And then with, Ordell, I think, we just kicked it up even more. It's like, it's like Ordell was not better than Jules, but it's like, he's he manages to be bigger and more realer at the exact same time. There's more of a, he's scarier than Jules, but he's more human at the same time. He's less of like he's less of a, this cool stylized thing, and more of just like this real guy, as big as he is. There's a real aspect to him, and I just love the way as the movie goes on, he turns into a monster. It's like he's very he's very entertaining and affable and funny and scary in the film at the beginning. But by the end, when he's like with Robert Forster and he's driving in the car and he's his hair's down and stuff, and that was all Sam's idea, the whole thing of the long hair and the goatee, the whole kind of samurai, a mad kung fu priest on the mountain look that he had. That was all Sam came up with that, and it was just terrific. It just made it. And and Sam had no problem going with like the costumes that he had, which was really funny because it was like like the white people on the set, like the costume designer, they go, "Is this too bold? Is this whatever?" And it's like me and Sam were explaining, "No, you don't understand. All right, you black in your dressing, and the Kangol hat, the red Kangol hat, and the red shirt and the red shoes. It's like, no, if the colors don't match, you're too poor. All right, you don't got enough money to make the shit match. All right, you know, your shit's out of line. All right, no, it's all lime green. It's all beige. And that's, you know, that's the way that's the look of it. That's the way you go down. Now, if you have the wrong color, can go. No, you don't be mixing colors. No, it's about one color. You know, it's about matching. And you know, and so like you know, so he was keeping the other people honest as far as that stuff was concerned. But no, he was just wonderful. But God, by the end of the movie, when he's in the car with Robert Forster, and he's saying, "If I go in there, I see anybody, I'm gonna shoot you first, and then I'm gonna kill her, and then I'm gonna still get my money." He's scary. I mean, he's like a monster in a monster movie by that point. But he's a human monster. You see where he's coming from. You almost even feel a little sorry for Ordell because that is his money. That's his money. I mean, Pam is stealing the money from him. She doesn't earn that money. That money's not owed to her. She doesn't deserve it. He's worked his ass off. We've watched him put every brick into place to make his little stash. You know, one of the things that's in the, not in the movie, but it's it was like a scene I wrote that ended up taking out before the type stage, back on the handwritten stage, is, you know, the whole idea is like, you know, okay, I'm going to get my $1 million and I'm out, all right? Now, $1 million really doesn't go that far anymore as far as like, okay, I'm going to live the rest of my life, all right? And like De Niro's character brought that up to him at one point and goes, you know, $1 million doesn't go that far. He goes, in the Philippines it does. I'm gonna make that $1 million. I'm gonna move to the Philippines. You pay motherfucker. You know, you get a buttload. You know, 5 cents an hour. You know, shit. I'll live there. I'll spend the rest of my life spending in the Philippines. So actually, that was Ordell's plan. He's gonna make his $1 million. He's gonna move to the Philippines, and I live like fucking Elvis.
So that never made it.
Never made it from the handwritten stage. From the handwritten stage, never made it to the type stage.
Sam working with Robert De Niro. Sam, in his interviews, like so funny and humble, and working with Robert De Niro.
Well, it's funny though because it's like, you know, Sam is actually usually never humble. All right, you know, he gives you, you know, you have to catch him. It's actually quite wonderful. He'll have a humble moment. All right. Because it's part of Sam's bravado, all right? He wasn't going to let De Niro know, all right, that like, wow, you know. And it's like, and also in playing Ordell, you know, he's full of all of his bravado, ha, 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 you know, all that stuff, all right? So he's got that going on, all right? But it was it's like, you know, all of a sudden, it'll peek through. All right, whereas like Sam's doing the part, you know, he's doing his first scene with De Niro. We're at the bar and they're talking. He's like, he's doing his thing. And then, at some point, you know, he's thinking about, he really was thinking about Ordell. He's not thinking about De Niro in that scene. But then at some point in the scene, he's like, I'm talking to Robert De Niro. I'm acting with Robert De Niro. How cool is it? Look, De Niro's listening to me. It's my scene. You know, and you know, all of a sudden, you know, he's like, you know, remembering watching Mean Streets. He's remembering watching Goodfellas. All right. He was thinking, this is my year. This has been happening because he was like doing Sphere with Dustin Hoffman at the time. So he's like literally traveling from set, working with Dustin Hoffman to working with Robert De Niro. And he said the same thing happened with Pam Grier. You know, and you know, and to tell you the truth, that was the one that actually that like, you know, like brings back the most young memories as far as like sitting in a movie theater and watching this. And you know, he said that it was really cool because it's like, you know, every once in a while, you know, Sam will let you like inside, and, you know, tell you about those moments, and it was really kind of cool because you know his thing is, you know, he's Ordell. And, you know, Sam's not too far from Ordell anyway, all right? So it's like, you know, Sam's always kind of full of bravado. But when we did the rehearsal, and they're doing you know, the scene where he puts his hands around her neck, he said he just had this flash. He goes, oh, my God, I'm choking coffee. I got my hand. This is pretty goddamn cool. That's coffee. I'm looking in coffee's eyes. You know, and it's just like little moments like that that's really cool that, like, you know, it's like, one is cool, but also there's moments like that let you know how far you've come. You know, he remembers being in a theater, or, you know, in where he's from, like North Carolina or whatever. You know, watching Coffee, in a theater and thinking about, hey, I'd like to be one of those guys in this movie. I'd like to be up on that screen. All right, and now here he is.